guys, welcome back to my channel. I wasn't sure what I was getting, whether it was admiration or condemnation, but I sure know I was getting attention. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you see my face for the first time, my name is Amaka, and if you don't know, I reside here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and I talk about lifestyle in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. All you have to know, all you need to know about living in Saudi Arabia, what life is about living in Saudi Arabia, so you change the misconception you have about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, hurry, kindly do so. Kindly like and subscribe to this channel for content from this part of the world. So guys, today we're talking about the culture shock of living in Saudi Arabia. Like, I think living in a place exposes like so many new things. You come to learn about some things that might fairly be new to you, and you know, it's a process because you try to adapt, you try to adjust, and you try to settle in every way possible. So today I'm talking about my greatest culture shock since moving to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So I came to this kingdom in I think 2020 or so, yeah, and since then it's been a struggle of trying to like settle in. At first it was a struggle of trying to like settle in, cope, adjust, readjust, change my mindset about some things, and finding a way to adapt to the culture of the Arabic people, that's the Arabians. And it's not been easy, I would say, when it comes to you making a decision to leave your place. Is the fact that I'm going to somewhere and things are not going to be the same as it is in my own place. So there are things I have to adapt to. There are so many factors that I have to consider, especially when it comes to moving to a place that is totally strange. So like Saudi Arabia is not the Western world. It's not like the UK or the US that you would say, oh, I understand these people to an extent. At least their culture somehow might resonate with mine, even if it's not their culture, maybe their religion and all that. But coming to a place that is totally the Middle East, the Arabians, the Asians, they have a totally different culture of their own. They have a culture that you have to really bring yourself to adapt to. So today I'll be talking about my greatest culture shocks since coming to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you like this video and subscribe to my channel so that other persons can get to see this content. Thank you very much. So the first time we came to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it was, of course, I had already known there were so many things that I was going to be expecting. I was prepared for it already. I was very much prepared for it. We came in, and of course I didn't have an abaya at the time we came in. I didn't buy an abaya, unfortunately. I didn't buy an abaya. So but I came in, given that yes, it's not really compulsory for expats to wear what's it called, abaya, especially in the very big cities. Not compulsory. Of course, I scaled through the big cities. I got past Riyadh and Jeddah, and we got to another region in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and that was when the whole stare started. Guys, one thing you should know about these people is that they can stare. Just bear in mind that they will look at you, and it will make you question yourself. Like you ask yourself, what am I doing different? Am I wearing the back off? Because the way they will look at you yourself, you'll be so embarrassed. Unless you find a way to just like look past the whole looks and just do your thing. I was so embarrassed, guys. I was totally embarrassed. I was embarrassed because I'm like, what's with the eyes? Why are people looking at, staring at me like you're not seeing someone that is not wearing an abaya? But that stare actually got me embarrassed. And I didn't want to go out that evening not wearing something that comes close to an abaya, because the shops were closed, and I think it was a weekend. That was on a Friday, because Fridays, of course, is a weekend here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So I had to wear the robe. There is this white robe that the men, that is the normal dressing in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The men wear that white garment or the tobe. So I wore the tobe and we went out. And as we went out, I, of course, okay, I think this time around it was no more, I don't know what it was, whether it was condemnation or admiration, but I was shy getting at it. Like everyone was just staring, so people just, I could see them laugh, so people were smiling, they were laughing. I knew they were talking about it. I'm like, because I don't know whether it was wrong, I don't know whether it's actually against the law for a woman to wear that. But in my own defense, I wore it because I didn't have an abaya at the time, and everywhere was closed. I couldn't get any at the moment, so I needed to go out and I needed to wear something to avoid being looked at. So I had to go with the next available thing I had, which is the tobe. So I wore the tobe, and my god, the eyes, the way they were staring at me, oh my god, I'm like, what do people really want in this life? But somehow I just found a way to just like, I didn't like pay attention to the whole looks at all. I just found a way to like feel good about it. So I don't know that is against the law, but I'm sure they pardoned me because I am a foreigner and I just didn't want to be looked at that way. I just enjoyed the moments, and I felt like, oh fine, finally give me a reason to talk about something. A woman wearing it, so fine, talk about it. So this brings me to my first point. The first culture shock I've had here is the dressing. When I first came, my first question was, how do the women cope day in day out wearing abaya, black on black? I don't know how they do it, but I was just really so concerned about it. I just wanted to know how they coped. I told myself, of course, they are used, this is what they've been wearing all their life. They've been conditioned to dress this way. They were born into it, and they've lived in it, and they have lived through it, and they're still living in it. So it's part of their life. So it was a part where I didn't really understand it though, but at the point I realized that of course it is their life and they are very much okay with it and they love it. Of course they love it. In fact, abaya was something I struggled with when I first came to the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because I was wondering, how can I, every moment I'm out, I am wearing an abaya, how can I deal with this? It was a struggle for me at first, but wow, over time, that's something about adjusting to a place. When you come to a place, it is best to just, especially a place like the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you must have to accept that this is a change that you have to adapt to for the period of time you'll be staying here. And that is how I got by. I adapted, and truthfully, I've come to love wearing the abaya. Stylishly, of course, I've come to love to wear abaya. So that was one thing that I struggled when I first came to the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and now of course I love it. It's beautiful. I admire it. I admire them, but it was the greatest culture shock because I don't know how they wear it day in day. Even their men, anytime you see them Monday to Sunday, they're wearing white. They have this thing like scarf they put over their head, the men, and then they're always on white. Not like they don't wear, of course they wear, the men of course wear the other they wear polos, they wear jeans, but traditionally, which is their culture, of course it is their dress style. Abaya for the women, the black abaya for the women, and the white tobe for the men. So that was what I struggled with. But at the point I realized everywhere you go, you must definitely see the white and the black everywhere. Everywhere you go here, you must see them. They are on black and they are on white, and you have to just get used to it. And I have gotten used to it. So the second point is the greeting. Yeah, guys. See, I think it is sometimes customary in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is their way of expressing their selves, greeting. It's compulsory that when a Saudi meets a Saudi, or they meet themselves, or the Arabic people, in fact, let me just use the Saudis alone, the Arabic people. So when we talk about those people, we have a colleague, a friend here, she's a Sudanese. Every time she sees me, the first thing, she's running into you and she's kissing you right, left. It's compulsory, it has to go left, right. It is just their way of kissing. I've seen many Saudis, when they see themselves, they hug themselves, they kiss right, left, kiss. Compulsory. Even the men, they shake hands, a way of greeting, and they have to kiss you left, right. And see, truthfully, whenever I see them and someone tries to do that to me, I'm not really getting used to that. Even when I see them do that, I'm just like, wow. I just stare. I'm still so much trying to get used to that part of their life, but it is their life and they actually do enjoy it. It is their culture. So that is one thing I've struggled with adapting to. I've struggled with adapting with that. The next culture shock is segmented places, or partitioned, or sections for people. Let me just put it like that. because in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I noticed that when you are out in an eatery, the eateries have a section. Some eateries though have a section for family, where the families alone are allowed to sit. They have a section for the meals, where only the males, single males, are allowed to go in and go through and eat. Then they have the sections for the females, where only the females are allowed to sit and eat. That is a great shock. It's a culture shock. And I know why, because there are people who, like, the law of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they don't love the whole mix of men and women, especially if they are single. So that is why I feel they have such spaces partitioned, such public places partitioned in that manner. So whenever you find yourself in a public place and you notice that these places are partitioned for different people, it's best to go through where you belong. If you have a family, you go into it through the family section. If you're single, you go into the single. And if you're a male single and then you're a female single, you go through the female section. It's best to observe that. Very important. It's actually something I have questioned about, like, why is this like this? It's a culture shock for me. It's a culture shock. Even though now, not all restaurants do, it's not all restaurants that have it, but it's best that when you're going into a place, it's even boldly written. You will see the family, the male and the single. So the next one is using of left hand. It is considered unclean to use the left hand to give someone something, to serve someone something, or even to eat. It is considered a taboo. Normally, of course, there are people who are left-handed. Some persons are left-handed. But even where I come from, yes, you're allowed to use your left hand, but there are things you're not allowed to do with your left hand. There are things the parents, the elderly, want to tell you, do not give me anything with the left hand. Of course, it is considered disrespectful. But here, you're not even allowed to eat with your left hand, considered a taboo. You're not allowed to give someone anything using your left hand. It is considered a taboo. Left-handed, you're left-handed. You don't shake an Arabic person with your left hand. Even if you're left-handed, you must come. It is compulsory for you to use your right hand when shaking someone. You shouldn't use your left hand. So that is actually one thing that has shocked me, that I would consider a culture shock. So it has actually been the shock I've had since coming to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And so at first it was a shock, but now, somehow I'm living through it. Somehow I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to that part of that life. I've come to embrace the Arabian culture. I've come to love the Arabian culture. I've come to appreciate the Arabic culture, and I would say it's beautiful. It is beautiful. The next point is, it's customary for the Arabians to serve tea. They have something called the Arabian. I think Arabian is a traditional kind of tea. When you meet an Arabic person, that is the first thing they serve you. To welcome you to their homes, you must. If you go to the house of an Arabian and they serve you something, like that Arabian tea, it is insultive to reject their tea. It's insultive to say no, that you can't have it. In fact, they will see that you don't love them and you don't appreciate them. So if they give you their Arabian tea, whenever you meet an Arabian and the person serves you tea as a good gesture to welcome you, kindly take and drink. Do not refuse it, because if you refuse it, it means you don't like them, it means you don't accept them, and it means that you did not welcome yourself. So you made yourself unwelcomed, and that does not sit right with them. So if you visit an Arabic person and the Arabic person serves you an Arabian tea, it's compulsory you drink and enjoy yourself. Let it sink in. The Arabians love tea. They love tea. So make sure to drink and be happy. I've come to learn so much about the years, and it's actually, that is one beautiful thing about just going to somewhere that the culture is just totally different. There is a lot to learn along the line. It's a lesson. There are so many things to be learned, and over the years I have come to learn, and most importantly, appreciate cultures. Appreciate people's cultures. It is what this particular thing will teach you. That is what living in a place like this will teach you. Culture. You have to appreciate and love the people's culture, and that is what I have come to do over the period of time I've been here. So this is just me trying to spill some tea on the culture of the Arabians. I hope you learned something from this. Yes, you mustn't be in Saudi Arabia to know about the people. You mustn't even be there to know about them. So thank you very much for watching my video. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed these very few points of mine. I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse you that the Arabians have a culture and they have a beautiful culture. Like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.